Tonight on News 5 Live, tragedy strikes as an infant drowns after falling into a canal on South Creek, with responders taking 3 hours to recover his body. We'll bring you the heartbreaking details of the story. Plus, drama unfolds as the Cabinet Secretary and the Junior Minister of Finance walk out of today's Senate hearing, prompting a response from the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly. And in other news, the draft Maya land tenure policy continues to spark debate, with the MLA and the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs at odds. These stories and more are coming up at the top of the hour.
My name is Hermine Vega. El Patio Grill has been using Belize Bank for over 25 years. We only use Belize Bank at our restaurant. That's why we were able to win this trip to Europe. I had never been to Europe. We found out it was Madrid and we were excited and we went to this football match. The teams reached before the game and everybody was just outside, you know. You can't explain, the noise just roared like 3 blocks down the street, but when you got in there and you saw 70,000 people in there, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it was happening. I had to pinch myself to make sure it was real, you know, because it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, I'd say. My lucky plus one was my son. He's 18 years old, so he was really excited and he enjoyed it as well. He said it's his best trip ever, so it's a priceless experience that we got. Belize Bank has always been there for me. Whatever transactions or whatever I need to do, they're always there for me. I would recommend everybody to use Belize Bank. It's the oldest bank in our country and they continue to do their best.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, October 16th. I am Sabrina Daly. On Tuesday, we reported on the rescue mission at the corner of Fairweather Street and South Creek Street, where a child had fallen into the canal. Tragically, later that evening, volunteers and the Belize Coast Guard recovered the lifeless body of 6-year-old King Wade from the water. Today, we spoke with some of the brave volunteers who risked their lives trying to save him, as well as the grieving family. News 5's Brittany Gordon has the story.
It takes just about 20 seconds for a child to drown. Tragically, 6-year-old King Shaquille Wade was in the water for nearly 3 hours before his body was found in the canal on South Creek Street. What started as a fun afternoon with his 2 siblings turned into a nightmare when King fell in the water around 3 p.m. His babysitter, Jennifer Fitzgibbon, who has cared for him since he was a baby, shared with us the heart-aching moment she realized something was terribly wrong.
The upstairs attend to the baby when I hear him The sister come and ask me, where is King? So I tell her, King, they out there on the fridge. So she gone out there. When she gone out there, she said, King, no, they out there. So we start look for her, I start holler for her. We know here, so I come back here, and when she come back here, my little grandson tell her, he say, King, they in the kennel. So she laugh. So I tell her, no laugh. I say, that could be serious. So we gone, they look around, we got all about what we know he could have made there. And he come back. So when we come back, I tell she, I say, go check in the kennel one more time, see if I see slippers. And when I hear she ball out, when I come, I see the 2 slippers in the kennel.
That afternoon, Fitzgibbon had left King sitting on a refrigerator at the back of her yard, away from the canal, with strict instructions to keep still while she tended to the younger children. The moment she realized what had transpired, the search was on. Arnold Smith was the first person to jump into the water.
First thing come to my head, King, I get a sense, mommy. We always up on the front of the alley, and usually a lot of people in the front of the alley, and I think they chill, and I think I get a sense, mommy, but I don't really know what's going on there. Politely, I get a sense, mommy, that just hurt me when I hear King dead of water. First thing I got to my head, go home, take off the clothes I got on, no hesitation, and jump in the water. Don't worry about where they down there, or where they in there, just jump in the water and try to save the young boy. I get a sense, mommy. First time I had a circle wrong, I don't find nothing. But I still not to give up hope.
Smith mentioned that the police and Coast Guards were already at the scene. Some witnesses criticized the Coast Guards for hesitating to jump into the water. However, Petty Officer Noel Avila explained that during a rescue mission, officers must first conduct a risk assessment to decide the safest and most effective course of action.
Upon arriving the scene, there was a bunch of people, videoing, poking with stick in the water. I went, I did my assessment. The chief talked to the police officer in charge on the scene. He gave us a brief description of what have occurred. The child went in the water around 3 o'clock. They had not surfaced. He mentioned that a crocodile was in the water. At that time, my parental instinct kicked in, and I told the chief, I'm going in the water. Knowing the debris and all the stuff that in the water, I still went in.
After about 20 minutes of diving, the body was retrieved by Egbert Myers, a cousin of King who lives nearby.
When we go there, we meet police, everybody. They look for the baby. But they can't find her till Lena at night. When I see everybody start jumping in the water, then I said, let's make her go. As I jump in the water, I feel, and I go on the bottom, I feel the foot.
What was going through your head when you felt the foot?
Rough. And I want to go pick up her. But I have to carry my cousin.
King's death deals a heavy blow on his family members as it falls on the birthday of his late father, Shaquem Humes.
They're rough, mommy. That's life, though. We have to do it. He cannot do it, he may do the same thing.
King was a lively and energetic child, cherished by everyone in the community. His aunt, Sharon Wade, shared that the grief extends beyond just the family. The entire community is mourning his loss.
He was jovial, very sweet. Everybody that knew King knew that his personality was very sweet and sour, You could tell when he's being mischievous. You could tell when he's very, very sweet. And with King being the sweet guy that he is, that outweighs the mischievousness that he does, in the time of he being mischievous, then you'll remember, oh, but this King, he's just so sweet. And everybody, the whole entire neighborhood around here, because of who King is, and King that friend with literally big man around here.
Upon retrieving King's body, the Belize Coast Guard attempted CPR. However, he was without a pulse. Lieutenant Ruperto Pinello, unit commander of the medical department, explains how they determined that it was too late to save the child.
Well, people say that that the child was still alive, but he did had some movements, but you have to understand that the body is full of nerves, and when the nerves get contracted, you also move the muscles. But it's when I received the body was already in that rigor mortis, and it was very hard for me to present or to make a miracle, like for, let's say, for that. But we did our best, we did our protocols, and once he arrived to the KHMH, it was handed over to the doctor.
Before anyone entered the water, Steve White attempted to rescue the child with a rake. He emphasizes the need for community support to ensure the safety of children.
The community can't run without the adults, you know. You need the adults to guide the kids out there. The kids are some misguided missile, you know, innocent, young and innocent, but at the same time too, they don't got any full sense we know wrong from right every time, you know.
Brittany Gordon for News 5.
On Tuesday, word spread quickly across Belize City that a child had fallen into the canal on South Creek. The search for the child went on for nearly 3 hours until his body was found shortly after 6 p.m. That evening at an event in Belize City, Mayor Bernard Wagner was asked for his initial reaction to the tragic news. Here's what he had to say.
It's unfortunate that young children, it's not most of the times are not supervised, and it's a supervision issue. We have had canals from where I grew up. I think this may be one of the first incidents I've heard of someone falling in a canal in my entire life. So again, it's a one-off type, but we can't lose fact that, listen, a child died, I believe. The child died. We as parents have to be held accountable. We have to be able to know every time where our children are. And so I just can, from the mayor's standpoint, that parents need to know where their children are at every given moment in time.
2 men are facing arson charges in Dangriga town. On Tuesday night, a century-old colonial building was engulfed in flames. At the same time, a nearby wooden home also caught fire. While the colonial building was abandoned, a mother and her 2 children were inside the second home. The mother believes the same men who set the colonial building on fire also targeted her house as she saw them leaving the scene. News 5 headed south today to cover the story. Here's that report.
On Tuesday night, an old colonial house on Commerce Street was engulfed in flames. By morning, firefighters were still battling the lingering embers among the ashes. The building was completely destroyed. Lisa Cheng, who lives nearby, is a relative of the property owner.
I closed my business, Impact Dangriga, at 5:30 p.m. and I noticed that across the street, right here where the big structure would have been, there was smoke coming out from the second floor, and I decided to approach my neighbor who has a little food stall in front, and I told her about it. This was about 5:30. We called fire department 5:35 to let them know there's smoke emitting from the building, to have them come and check out. They said they will come and check out. By 6 o'clock, we know the entire building was engulfed in flame.
The structure had been abandoned for years. The owners had been working to dismantle the building because it was known to harbor suspicious characters. When the fire started, residents saw 2 young men running away from the property. This has led many to suspect that the fire was no accident, but a deliberate act of arson.
That's our suspicion, but like I said, we'll leave it up to the authorities, you know. So, I mean, like, there was nothing in the building. There was absolutely nothing in the building. We don't see the reason why they would want to burn it down, you know. We were trying to take it down. Whatever good piece of lumber, zinc, whatever it was, we give it out to the community that they can reuse.
Initially, there were reports that someone had died in the blaze. However, News 5 has confirmed that these reports are false. The person thought to be dead is actually a woman who lives across from the colonial house with her 2 children. They discovered their front porch on fire before the first blaze got out of control. The woman suspects that the same individuals who set the colonial house on fire came back to target her home while she and her children were inside. She shared her story with us off camera.
I saw them leave, and then I went back in my house because the house is an abandoned building, right? And it's not unusual for me to see people come and leave. I mean, you know, for whatever activity that's done there. So I ignored it, all the signs, and I went back in my house and to lie down because, you know, I just clocked out from work. 2 minutes after I smelled, you know, the smoke, and then I came out, my house was actually on fire.
Rayburn sprang into action and secured her children, a plastic bag with a couple clothing items, and a television before fleeing the house. Fortunately, fire personnel were able to quell the fire before it destroyed the entire structure with everything inside. The blaze from the colonial house, however, caused some damage to the roof siding of a third home.
My 2 daughters, you know, was still traumatized from the ordeal, and I'm just happy that we got out safe, you know.
Initial reports suggest that someone had passed away. Was the assumption that that was you?
Yeah, they assume it was me and my kids, you know, because while I was in the crowd, with, you know, everybody was, you know, traumatized and shocked because they thought it was me and my kids. And while being in the crowd, you know, a guy came up to me and said, "Miss, I heard you were in the fire, you know, am I seeing a ghost?" And I was like, "No, it's me, it's, you know, I wasn't in the fire." But it's still traumatizing, you know, for me and my kids, because now we're back here, and after, you know, all the effects, and my daughter is still traumatized, you know, to even be in the house.
News 5 has confirmed that surveillance footage of the 2 suspects has been handed over to investigators. Lisa Cheng described the blaze as the biggest fire Dangriga has ever witnessed.
It was one of the biggest fires I can say Dangriga have ever witnessed. You know, this building took up 4 lands. You know, it's almost half a block here, and we're grateful for the fire department. They reach, like I said, it's an old building. The wood is really broken down. It's dry, so it's gonna light up fast. And their fast response, you know, and along with BEL, I'm grateful for them for disconnecting the electricity because the wires were starting to spark. And we're also grateful that a fire hydrant is like right next door, you know. So the 2 fire trucks came and attacked it. And lucky thing there wasn't any breeze last night, because it would have been a lot worse.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Coming up, Chris Coy walks out of Senate hearing, prompting adjournment.
Sbarro, the original New York pizza you know and love. Sbarro's extra-large pizzas are handmade fresh daily with San Marzano-style sauce, 100% whole milk mozzarella on a hand-stretched 17-inch dough. Available whole or by the slice, so you can simply fold, eat, and repeat.
Man, ever since everybody hear the next big thing there, the excitement can't done. Everyone wants to know more.
More?
Yes, please. I tell them, say hello to unlimited data, only with Digi. You can now enjoy unlimited data with Digi's postpaid plans, like the Plus plan, which just got cheaper, I might add. The Elite and Max plans also have unlimited data. You can have from 5 to 7 people on your shared plan, with all having unlimited data 24/7. I tell you, big things. If you're not signed up already, I suggest you sign up now. Make the switch to Digi. The next big thing there, go sign up for your unlimited data. Unlimited is unlimited. Never worry about data again.
The Statistical Institute of Belize, in collaboration with UNICEF, informs the public that it will conduct the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey starting August 26th for approximately 14 weeks. During the survey, trained interviewers will visit randomly selected households nationwide. Each field worker will wear a mint green t-shirt with the Mix 7 logo and an official photo identification card. We thank you for your participation. For more information on the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey, call us at 822-2207. The Statistical Institute of Belize, providing Belize with quality, objective, and timely information.
This morning, the Senate Special Select Committee picked up its investigation into the hotly debated definitive agreement given to Portico Enterprise Limited by the Barrow administration back in October 2020. The public hearings, spearheaded by NGO Senator Janelle Chanona, have been a marathon of testimonies, with several key figures like developer David Gegg taking the stand. However, the inquiry has hit several roadblocks, with some witnesses not showing up and others being advised by their lawyers not to answer certain questions. Earlier today, Cabinet Secretary Stuart Leslie faced the committee, accompanied by Senior Counsel Eamon Courtney, who also serves as the leader of government business in the upper house. Here's what went down.
Members of the committee, I am here at your invitation as a Cabinet Secretary, not in my personal capacity. As this committee is aware, documents and deliberations of the Cabinet are strictly confidential and exempt from disclosure. As Cabinet Secretary, I took an oath to uphold the laws and the Constitution of Belize, and I intend to be faithful to that oath. I have been advised that I am not at liberty to disclose any Cabinet documents or deliberation of Cabinet to this committee or otherwise. Respectfully, I am therefore not in a position to assist this committee with any evidence.
Colleagues, who would like to go first? You can indicate that you're declining to answer, but the committee...
I thought that was what my statement said.
Yes.
But yes, I am declining to answer questions.
Yes. So it is just for you to indicate that this is the basis for your decline. We just need to get it on record that we have asked and you have answered.
Hi, good morning, Cabinet Secretary. Thanks for coming. I just have a few questions that perhaps you could help me understand.
Madam Chairman, sorry to interrupt, Senator, but I have advised...
Sorry, again, morning, Senator Courtney. I know you're here as an attorney, but again, as per protocol established by the SSC, only the witnesses to convey. So you can indicate that legal advice is advising you not to respond, but we would like to pose the questions for you. Sorry, can you put on your mic and then we just have you on record?
Sorry, I will not answer any questions.
Next up was Senator Chris Coie, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance. He showed up with his law partner and fellow Senator, Eamon Courtney, from Courtney's Coie LLP. Skipping the formalities, Coie dove straight into a prepared statement and then made a quick exit from the hearing. As he read from his document, he started by explaining how he first found out about the definitive agreement.
I became aware of Portico Enterprises Limited and its plans for a new cruise port like almost everyone else through the news media several years ago when the UDP administration signed an MOU with Portico. On change of administrations, it was certainly a policy and a priority of this new government to encourage and facilitate new investment in Belize with a view to cause long-term sustainable human development, particularly those investments that would bring in much needed foreign exchange and generate substantial employment. It was therefore promising to see an investment of this scale and nature being contemplated with reputable companies like Boscalis, one of the largest judging companies in the world. This gave credibility to the Portico project. In late 2022, Portico, through its attorneys, requested that government honor the undertaking set forth in the definitive agreement signed in 2020 by the past UDP government to enact a law containing the various concessions as promised under the said agreement. I believe I received a copy of the definitive agreement in early 2023.
Is there still any interest from Boscalis and Royal Caribbean in investing in the Port of Magical Belize after the political mess with the definitive agreement? Minister Koi, reading from a prepared statement, stressed that there has been zero foreign investment, no capital flow, no job creation, and no foreign exchange generated. He also highlighted that while the country has taken a hit, the only ones who seem to have benefited from this apparently failed project are the entities that sold land to Portico for the cruise terminal development.
As I revisit my experience over the past couple of years on this matter, it is unfortunate what has transpired. Since change of government, it became reasonably clear to me that there was serious investment interest from such parties as Boscalis and Royal Caribbean to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. With the barrage of propaganda on this project and even this inquiry, it is unclear where that level of interest now stands. From a development perspective, as it relates to this project, Belize has lost. There has been no foreign investment, no capital inflow, there has been no employment generated, there has been no foreign exchange generated. There has been no economic diversification in this area. In fact, the cruise tourism product has experienced degeneration, not modernization. While overnight tourism has been performing tremendously, cruise tourist arrivals continue to fall. Unless a modern cruise port is built soon, the ships and their passengers will just pass us by. While Belize has lost, there have been beneficiaries. Those who sold lands to the Portico entity enjoy the proceeds of sale. Then there are certain foreign-funded NGOs who in fact raise money on the backs of their purported achievements for conservation, while at the same time halting development opportunities to the detriment of our people. The scuttling of such a project of this nature could very well be seen as a victory for those certain special interests.
Wrapping up his statement, Senator Koi didn't hold back on criticizing the abuse of power in Parliament, especially in the upper house. After dropping that bombshell, he excused himself from the hearing, which led to an immediate adjournment and a huddle in the committee room.
As much as conservation is a national priority, it should never be that nature-positive conservation should have priority over people-positive, sustainable human development. There is no doubt that the Senate or any committee of the Senate has the powers to conduct inquiries and investigations on any matter of public interest or importance. At the same time, just as with any other authority that enjoys powers and discretions, those powers of the Senate can be abused. The Senate and any committee thereof must be resolutely sure not to abuse their powers or be manipulated into abusing their powers to serve third-party special interests, including foreign interests, but rather to act reasonably and judiciously in the public interest of Belize and its citizenry alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
I will be excusing myself. That's the extent of the statement I have to give today and the evidence that is being provided to this committee.
Before you leave, I was only going to ask a few things, so hear me out before you make your decision. One would be for a copy. I mean, we can transcribe, but if you have a copy, if you could send it to the clerk so that we can add it to our files. And two, just to confirm, we would have started with an introduction of who you are and your capacities. Is that also your preference, that you depart before you table those for the record?
I think you know who I am.
Despite calling for an adjournment, the session was cancelled at 1:30 p.m. This afternoon, we caught up with Cabinet Minister Francis Fonseca to get his take on today's Senate hearing. Fonseca admitted he wasn't aware of what happened during the inquiry, but he still shared a few thoughts with reporters.
Well, I didn't see anything that you're talking about today, so the first time I'm hearing about it. I've been busy all day today. You know, obviously with these hearings, I'm sure they were given legal advice.
They appeared with the attorney.
Okay, they did. So, you know, I am in no position to second guess what legal advice was given to them. Always with these, you know, hearings, inquiries, you know, I always support more information, providing as much information and data and, you know, whatever is asked of us. I am always in support of that, and I know that's the sentiment of the cabinet in terms of this particular hearing and inquiry. But obviously individuals have to be guided by their own legal advice. You're characterizing it as walking out. I don't know if that's the case. I'm sure they provided statements.
They did give statements,
so,
but refused to take questions.
Okay. Yeah, again, as I said, they're obviously acting on advice of counsel.
This evening, the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly released a statement detailing the events of today's session. It goes on to say, quote, both witnesses appeared with Attorney Senator Honorable Eamon Courtney, Senior Counsel. Each witness took the opportunity afforded by the SSSC to make opening statements. Unfortunately, both witnesses declined to answer any questions and exited the chambers of the National Assembly. The committee was surprised at the witnesses' failure to participate in the public hearing. The SSSC is also disappointed with the suggestion made by Honorable Koi in his opening statement, which attempts to cast aspersions on the work of the committee that is unacceptable, end quote. After the break, Inter-American Commission on Human Rights members meet with MLA. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Are you looking for a career where success has vast potential? As an agent with RFNG Life Insurance, you'll be a part of a dynamic team that values ambition and hard work. Our agents enjoy numerous benefits, including flexible working hours, high earning potential, and thorough training programs. Why is becoming an agent important? Because you get to shape your future. You will help clients achieve their dreams, and in doing so, you'll achieve yours. Starting on your first day, you'll receive thorough training and continuous professional development. Our cutting-edge tools and resources will equip you to excel in the field. Achieving your goals as an agent is simple with our well-defined roadmap to success. We provide mentorship, performance incentives, and a vibrant community to help you stay motivated and on track. Our support network is second to none. You'll have access to experienced mentors, a collaborative team environment, and recognition programs that help you celebrate your milestones and achievements. Contact us today and become a part of something extraordinary. RFNG Life Insurance, your future, our commitment.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connection. pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
We all know about the phasing out of single-use plastics and the enactment of pollution from the plastics regulations. One of the key components in this regulation states that for an item to be considered biodegradable, it must consist of more than 50% of bio-based content. Here, you will find out how the Department of the Environment determines what items meet the criteria and what equipment is being used to guide that process.
Since 2019, the Department of the Environment has been working with CIFAS in doing microplastics. Through this project, CIFAS has donated 2 microscope Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy equipment to strengthen capacities on monitoring and enforcement to reduce marine litter and plastic pollution. The FTIR can be used to identify unknown materials. The Department of the Environment will use the equipment to determine the composition of single-use plastics and biodegradable products to enforce the environmental protection, pollution from plastics regulations.
While we have a long way to go with the implementation of the pollution from plastics regulation, having this equipment is one step closer. For more information on what's being done about biodegradables and ways you can help, visit our website at www.doe.gov.bz.
Last week, after the cabinet meeting, the government announced in a press release that it is making headway with the draft Maya customary land tenure policy. They mentioned making suggestions to refine the key points and asked the relevant parties to share this information to move towards finalizing the draft legislation. However, Christina Cox, spokesperson for the Maya Leaders Alliance and the Toledo Alcaldes Association, stated that both organizations do not support the government's proposal. Cox also expressed disappointment over the absence of key government representatives at a working session this week with the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, which has been involved in the process since 1998.
You will recall that recently we were before the media as well to denounce the government's proposal of a 1 kilometer circular from the center of the village. A 1 kilometer circular was being proposed, that is what they would automatically recognize. We had an issue with that because that leaves out then all of our farmlands and all the other areas that we customarily use. And so that was, we held, of course, a gathering in Santa Elena shortly after that proposal was made by the government. And there was a huge protest against that proposal, and the government listened. And basically they said at our meeting with them, I think that was in May, right after the compliance hearing, they basically said, we're going to pull back that proposal. We know that it's not a popular proposal, it's not going to be accepted. We're going to pull it back and we're going to come back to you with a better proposal, or one would assume a better proposal. They have now come back with a new proposal, and that is perhaps what we should discuss in this interview, because the new proposal now is also very, very concerning to the Maya communities. Yesterday, the Inter-American Commission visited the village of Santa Cruz. This was the host village. This is where the working session was held. Unfortunately, the government was a no-show insofar as they basically sent 3 observers from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs who informed us that they were only there to take copious notes. And it's been a pattern where the government has refused to report and show up for these sessions. This is very disappointing, particularly because the Inter-American Commission is in country, is on site. The Attorney General's ministry is the ministry that represents the state in these cases. And so somebody from the Attorney General's ministry, at the very minimum, their counsel on this case. And we have still not arrived at a finalized Maya land tenure policy. For 3 sticking issues, 1, the big question is, where are these Maya lands? Where does Maya customary land tenure exist? What is the extent of that land? They are now proposing that they will automatically recognize only 5 acres of land per person. So whatever the population size is, they will multiply that 5 acres times that population size. Now, again, this is really reflective of either an ignorance on the part of the government with respect to understanding Maya customary land tenure, or how Maya people use the land, or it is just an insistence on limiting the rights of the Maya people, and in fact limiting specifically the lands that should be recognized for the Maya people. Now, we also reject this proposal because there is no way that just coming and developing this formula, even the judges of the CCJ asked the government, how did you come up with this formula? How did you determine that it would be 5 acres per person? And they said, well, we just decided that is what is enough for a Maya person to make their life, without fully understanding how we use the land, our relationship to the land.
The commission members are in Belize to catch up with 2 Maya organizations and see how well Belize is doing in implementing court rulings. They're also here to iron out any issues that are causing delays. Back in 2004, the commission put out a report based on a petition from the MLA and TAA. Christina Koch mentioned that this visit is happening because the MLA and TAA asked for it.
Last year, November, we held a working session, or a compliance working session, with the Inter-American Commission in November. And it was at that compliance session that we asked the Commission to come and visit Belize, to do a site visit. We've been asking for this for the last 20 years, right? But it's only until last year that the government accepted, because they have to come as a guest of the government. And so the government approved the request, and we planned for them to visit this year. But of course, it's the government's prerogative on where they go. The only thing we had established was that they would do a working session, an on-site working session with us, to assess, where they are with their recommendations, to hold 2 seminars, or to hold a seminar to help develop capacities around human rights and how the intersection with Indigenous people's rights, how that is a part of human rights. It comes right after the last compliance hearing of the CCJ consent order, which was on the 10th of October. And on the 10th of October, that was when we are, of course, before the CCJ, seeing what has happened in terms of the advancement of the implementation. That was the first time we learned of the changes in the Maya customary land tenure policy that we have been negotiating for some time now. And the context in that regard is that for some time now, we have been deliberating on what the policy will look like. The policy is supposed to be the guiding instrument that will inform the development of the legislation. So it's a very important document. It will tell you what the parameters are of where the law will find its place. And so for us, it's important that the policy captures the spirit of the judgment of the courts, captures the essence of the bundle of rights that Maya people are afforded, or that the recognition affords.
News 5 spoke via phone with Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia, the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, who said that the government has been flexible and liberal with the Mayas and that it does not want to come across as depriving the Mayas of land or putting them in a box. The minister said that there has been extensive consultation in the process and that it looks forward to coming to a final draft in due course on Maya land tenure.
Unfortunately, there was a twisting of the proposal that the government put, and quite erroneously, it was put out there that government was only going to give a kilometer radius or a 2 kilometer radius, and that is all the land that could be claimed or acquired by a village communally. But let me clarify. What we basically said is that we would be willing to recognize that area automatically without the village having to prove use and occupation, because clearly their homes are there. No, beyond that, what the villagers would have to do, make we say Otosha, for example, or make we say Mabilha, for example, what they would have to show to apply for communal ownership of further lands beyond the radius is they would have to show use and occupation of that land for about 30 years. We were using a reasonable amount of time, 30 years prior to the ruling of the court in 2015. So let me make it abundantly clear. What was proposed at the time was not penning people into a 1 kilometer or a 2 kilometer radius, but to say that the government in its policy and legislation would be willing to recognize that area automatically without the village having to prove. I would not wish for it to be said or for it to be understood by any of the Belizean people that government is trying to put the Maya people in their villages into a little box and only give them like say a kilometer or whatever, or a little bit of land as such, because we must respect, again I repeat, we must respect that if there has been a ruling of the court recognizing Maya customary land tenure, the difficult job of government along with our partners, and we view the TAA, the MLA as partners, although it may seem adversarial at times, we view all of them as partners.
When we return, bringing Maya civilization to the fore digitally.
Remember, not all light bulbs are created equal. Our lighting department offers a wide assortment of light fixtures and accessories to suit your style. So stop in today and get the right illumination for your homecation. And don't forget your B-Box when you make a purchase. Benny's, quality and savings.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
At the Life Company, we understand that life can be demanding and fast-paced, so we've made it easier for you to contact us. Wherever you may be, and at your own convenience, you can now access our services through our social media platforms. RFNG Life is pleased to introduce our new LifeBot service. Request a quotation, make premium payments, speak to a customer service representative, and more from right where you are in the palm of your hands. Visit our website or Facebook page or WhatsApp us at 671-5143 to try out our new LifeBot service today. RFNG Life Insurance, the Life Company.
La formación del Centro Neurológico del Hospital Galenia es que esas enfermedades que son altamente complejas y que muchos de nuestros pacientes tenían que emigrar hacia otra parte de la República u otra parte de México ahora puedan ser atendidos aquí.
La atención quirúrgica en el centro neurológico se forma dentro de un grupo multidisciplinario que incluye tanto neurólogos, médicos internistas, ortopedistas, neurocirujanos, pediatras. Y este esfuerzo que se ha realizado para conjuntar todos los especialistas es para siempre brindar al paciente un abordaje multidisciplinario y transversal. Evidentemente, mientras más rápido podamos llegar al diagnóstico de los pacientes, más rápido podemos tratarlos, resolverlos y por ende mejor resultado vamos a tener al final. Entonces creo que la prioridad y el fundamento principal de un proyecto como este es justamente eso, que no se pierda tiempo de forma innecesaria para poder al final del día llegar al mejor de los resultados con un tratamiento completo, integral y oportuno. Y las visiones desde diferentes perspectivas nos permiten tener pues el mejor tratamiento y la mejor opción para el paciente.
Tenemos la capacidad técnica, operativa, profesional y la infraestructura de poder establecer una atención neurológica de alta calidad.
Suicide is one of those topics that is considered taboo to talk about, especially among the adolescent population. But the Mental Health Association and UNICEF Belize are of the view that youth must have these conversations. As a result, they partnered with the Department of Youth Services to host a panel discussion on suicide prevention led by high school students. The discussion was moderated by a mental health professional, with additional experts on standby to offer intervention. News 5's Paul Lopez was there, and he filed the following report.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness reports that suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people aged 15 to 29. Considering this alarming statistic, the Belize Mental Health Association and UNICEF Belize teamed up with the Department of Youth Services to host a panel discussion on suicide prevention and mental health led by high school students.
There is a moderator and of course professionals on standby in case we need to intervene. But the idea is that they're having conversations anyway. And so we'd love to give them a safe space to have conversations about suicide prevention, give them tips and ideas. There's also resources, of course, that are printed out and available for them, while connecting them with the UNICEF resources, the U-Report program, etc.
To add to the common misconception that people who talk about suicide are just seeking attention, whether or not it's for attention or them seeking out for help, the common root of the problem should always be found, because talking about it might be their way of genuinely seeking help and them feeling a sense of hopelessness.
Students from 13 high schools gathered at the Princess Hotel to engage in the panel discussion. UNICEF Belize's health and nutrition specialist says globally adolescents do not have a lot of opportunities to address their mental health challenges or access to the necessary services.
The event today is to commemorate, even though it happened some time ago, World Suicide Day, which focuses on changing the narrative. What does it mean to change the narrative? For example, we know that suicide is something nobody wants to talk about, but we need to talk about it. But also need to be sensitive when we are talking about it. It's that when you say people died, so say somebody committed suicide, it's as if it's an offense. Nobody committed suicide. When people die from suicide, you say this person took his life, or this person died by suicide, not that somebody committed suicide. So today, we like to bring students from so many schools in Belize. Let them talk about suicide. There are so many issues associated with suicide. People have anxiety, they have depression, family problem. We know the issue of poverty, issue of gender-based violence, issue of bullying.
The research that I conducted or gathered, males have a higher suicide rate compared to females, although females may attempt suicide more frequently. This is from the Ministry of Health and Wellness in 2022. And according to PAHO, the Pan American Health Organization, rural areas in Belize tend to have a higher suicide rate, likely due to the limited access to mental health services and economic hardship.
What advice would you give to grandparents or parents who want to encourage their children to open up more to them?
That's a big question. If someone is interested in getting their child to open up more to them or grandchild, drop your opinion, drop your judgment, and really just listen. Like, before you try to change their mind, hear where they're coming from and try to understand what they're feeling and where they are before you try to change their mind. Because teenagers specifically do not care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The Maya civilization has been around for several thousands of years, and the amount of memorabilia that has been discovered is wide and varied. Yet not every Belizean can boast that they've had the opportunity to view these gems close up. But now, through digitization and technology, the Museum of Belize made space for a display of Maya memorabilia in digital form. It seeks to bring visuals of these artifacts to the fore. News 5's Marian Ali was at a ceremony at the museum for the launch of the exhibition. Here's that report.
An exhibition that opened today at the Museum of Belize seeks to educate visitors on Maya existence in Belize dating back to the past 4,000 years. It does so through digital images of these artifacts for students and tourists alike. And Governor General Froila Salam, a Maya woman herself, explained why the Maya culture should matter to every Belizean.
What does the ancient Maya civilization mean to me, and why should it matter to you? An underlying feeling I had growing up in the 1970s was that the ancient Maya civilization had nothing to do with me. I mean, I don't know how to read or write Maya hieroglyphs, or even use the system known as the Digicel based on 20 number system. And I most certainly do not live on a pyramid. I could not relate the life I had with those who were being described in history books. We don't have a time machine, but I am told we now have this beautiful exhibition with all the latest gadgets.
The display takes one on a walk back in time to have a better appreciation of how these early inhabitants lived, and present-day people can use it to compare it to how we live now. This learning process underscores one thing for Francis Fonseca, the Minister of Education and Culture. It is part of a bigger effort to pump life into Belize's cultural history.
In 2002, we took a monumental step by opening the Museum of Belize, right where we are today, 22 long years after gaining our independence, and 22 years ago, transforming a former jail, a prison, into a sanctuary of learning was not just an idea, it was a dream. Niche has breathed life into several initiatives that honor our culture and creativity. We opened the Museum of Belizean Art, launched the Belize Music Project, celebrated a diverse group of creatives, and initiated the Access 501 digital project. We've even signed an MOU to transform George Price's family home into a vibrant classroom and botanical garden.
Akira August explained that it is a new project that they at the Institute of Archaeology have embarked on called Digital Archaeology.
We use photogrammetry and LiDAR to create 3D models and 3D images of our artifacts and of our monuments and different parts of our structures, different important parts of our structures. Okay, so when you use photogrammetry, it's a photo process. So you would take an image, you would take an artifact, put it on a lazy Susan, or what we call a turntable in the baker's world, and you would turn the object around and take several photos of it, ranging from 100 to maybe up to like 500 photos of it in different angles and on different sides of the artifact.
The Ministry of Culture is hoping that introducing this type of digitization at the museum will give more people the chance to learn more about Maya civilization. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Up next, Sbarro Belize officially opens its doors in Belize City.
Sunny Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez, Brittany Gordon. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
Take control with My Social Security, your secure online account to manage all your social security information. To create a My Social Security account, you must be 14 years or older and have a valid email address. Visit the My Social Security self-service portal at ssbportal.org.bz. Click on Create Account. Enter your date of birth and phone number. Next, verify your email address to continue. To verify, simply enter your email address and click the Send Verification button. Enter the verification code sent to your email inbox to proceed. Next, create a password that meets the requirements. Enter the name and select the reason for your account. Then click Create. Your My Social Security account was successfully created. Your information security is our priority. If you have a social security number, click Link My SSN to link your social security number to your account and activate using the steps in your confirmation email. If you do not have a social security number, click Register with SSB. You are now ready to truly experience social security at your fingertips.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers Bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Guess what? Belize just got a slice of New York. Sbarro, the legendary pizza joint from Brooklyn that's been serving up cheesy goodness for 68 years, has landed at mile 3.5 on the Philip Cosin Highway. They kick things off with a grand opening event on Tuesday night, where lucky guests got to dig into their handmade New York pizzas. News 5's Paul Lopez was there to give us the scoop. Here's his report.
Sbarro Pizza has officially landed in Belize, adding to its impressive tally of 680 locations across 28 countries. Belize is the newest stop on their global pizza tour. They're all set to win hearts and stomachs with their handmade New York pizzas.
One word, delicious. It just flavors, richness, texture, everything in one. Delicious.
Amazing.
These are just some of the reviews from guests at the grand opening celebration on Tuesday night. There was no shortage of samples. The menu is extensive. Located at mile 3.5, Sbarro is whipping up its delicious pizzas from inside Publix Mini Mart right next to Transparent BPO. Jennifer Corzo, the CEO of Sbarro Belize, says they're here to add even more flavor to Belize's culinary scene.
It has been a journey, but we are very happy to have a new franchise here in Belize because we want to enrich the culinary of Belize. Yeah.
What makes Sbarro stand out from other pizzas that we may be familiar with or we've tried in our lifetime?
Of course, the quality of our ingredients, the quality of our products, the final products, and our installations too.
Are there perhaps challenges that we've had to overcome along the way to get to where we are today?
Yes, of course, the importing of the ingredients because we bring everything from outside.
Well, almost everything. Corzo explained that the restaurant sources its vegetables and flour locally. But in order to maintain certain quality standards, franchises like Sbarro are required to import most of their ingredients. The high cost of importation is arguably one of the primary reasons why franchises do not last in Belize. Belize Mayor Bernard Wagner welcomed the franchise and contends that central government intervention is required to address this issue.
We need more franchises, and I'm so excited and feel fulfilled in respect to the franchise taking footing in Belize City. We're at a commercial center, and we have over 70,000 residents living in our city. And in addition to that, we have thousands and thousands of people coming into the city each and every day to work in our city. We have to make the incentives competitive for these franchises in terms of costs of production. It has to be a situation where the importation for the products that will make the end product, it has to be, you have to give people some run in terms of how what you charge, importation, and that sort of thing.
8 talented Belizeans are now part of the team at the Publix and Sbarro Mini Mart. And guess what? The chef is a local star too, trained specifically to whip up Sbarro's famous pizzas. Sbarro believes isn't stopping here. They're already plotting their next moves to Placencia Village and San Pedro Town.
We are happy to be here, that we are waiting, and we open the doors tomorrow. So we want all Belizean families to try our products, because we don't have just pizza, we have strombolis and breadsticks.
You feel your prices are competitive. What are the prices like for your pizza?
The prices, the whole pie is between $50 and $60, and we sell the slices too, and the slices between $10 and $13.
Had challenges with franchises in Belize, but I'm confident that this one will work, will be very successful.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.